Keeping with Tradition. Written by Applejack of all trades.
Ugh, okay, dude. So fine. You sure? God, sorry. Nothing doing. I don't mind.
Rainbow Dash nodded, adjusting her legs in front of her. They bent at the knees, shaping her into an almost tight ball next to her best friend. They sat in the middle of the staircase, obstructing the path for anyone wishing to go up or down. Rainbow Dash pressed her hands down on her knees, no doubt trying to get comfortable as the faint sweat lining her brow glistened in the midday sun. They each set their water bottles down after taking a quick drink from them.
Okay,
Rainbow Dash continued as she fidgeted once more. She shifted her weight to the side and took out a pack of gum from her rear pocket.
Well, you know I'm not the mushy type.
Applejack shrugged.
I know. I'm not the mushy type, Rainbow Dash repeated. But, you know, you can still talk to me.
The way she said it sounded forced, as if she was speaking through a mouth full of razor blades. Applejack smirked, knowing that Rainbow Dash felt uncomfortable with emotions. She slugged her on the arm with the side of her fist.
Yeah, I know. So then talk to me.
Applejack cocked her head, swiping a stray droplet of sweat away from her temple. Rainbow Dash looked at her with forceful, yet gentle, eyes.
Huh? Oh, Dash, I told you, I don't want to talk about it. It ain't bothering me or anything.
Ever since Rarity had ended things with her, everyone seemed to be walking on eggshells around Applejack, as if one wrong move would break her. No more favors being asked for, no more teasing jokes or hardened looks. Even Fluttershy had gotten nicer, and that was a feat she had previously thought to be impossible. It was frustrating, to say the least. But Rainbow Dash hadn't changed, and that was why Applejack had still made it to their weekly workouts, even after the past excruciating month of unwarranted gentleness from their friends. Sitting together, only mildly reeking of sweat and panting heavily as the breeze cooled them down, it was like nothing had changed between the two. Applejack was still just Applejack, and Rainbow Dash was still her best friend. There had been one change, sure, maybe a big one, but it didn't affect their friendship or their routines. Prismatic hair framed her furrowed brow as Rainbow Dash tightened her lips into a slight frown.
Really? Are you sure?
Though Applejack had to wonder why Rainbow Dash was suddenly acting this way.
Rainbow, what's up with you?
She blinked, shaking her head once.
What do you mean? Nothing's up, AJ.
Well, you said it yourself, Dash. Applejack pointed out. You ain't the mushy type, so what's with the questions? Did I set you up to this? She crossed her arms over her chest, trying on a firm frown. Rainbow Dash deflated a tiny bit, her back slouching under Applejack's gaze.
No, yeah,
she admitted. A blue hand swept up and ran through her hair, slicking the straight strands of her bangs back, though they bounced back almost immediately.
I'm sorry, the girls and I just wanted to make sure you were okay, since you weren't really talking to them much outside school and stuff.
Applejack groaned, leaning back and pulling her ponytail a little tighter. Her hair had grown a lot in the past month, but it still managed to slip out of its elastic if she didn't tighten it enough.
It's not that I ain't okay, I'm just a bit sore about how they're treating me, you know?
What do you mean? Emerald eyes trailed up to the sunny sky. White puffy clouds hung over the pair, ever so often casting their shade down as they interrupted the sun's warm beams from reaching the ground. Applejack slid her eyes shut, letting the bright sunlight cast shapes into her eyelids as she spoke.
You mean you haven't noticed? They're walking around all careful like around me, as if any little thing will be enough to spook me or make me cry or anger me or something. I don't know, not sure how much they know about what happened between me and Rarity, but I know they know enough, 'cause I told them myself when I came out. It's been a month already, and they're acting like I ain't alright, like they gotta keep me alright. Not sure, I guess, but it's a little annoying, you understand?
Applejack opened her eyes, setting her adjusting gaze on Rainbow Dash, who nodded.
Twilight's been fine. He's pretty much been the same, though it's a bit awkward when he talks about Rarity. As for her, well, I haven't really talked to her much, though it ain't that we're avoiding each other, but we kinda got a split time now, you know? I didn't want anything to change, but it is, even if they don't mean it like that.
Why don't you tell them that? Rainbow Dash asked, fiddling with the gum pack between her hands.
They'll stop if you tell them to.
Applejack gave a half shrug.
I guess, but I don't know. They don't mean anything by it, just trying to be careful, I reckon. Don't want to give them the wrong idea. If you want, I'll talk to him for you,
Rainbow Dash offered, gazing over to Applejack.
They won't take it personally if I tell them. You're right, they don't mean anything by it. They want to support you. But they shouldn't change the way they act. You're strong, you're a badass, actually.
She smirked, which got Applejack to snort and roll her eyes.
I'm serious, AJ. You don't let anything get you down, not for long anyway. I admire that about you, you know?
That wasn't entirely true, but she appreciated the sentiment anyway. The breeze cooled Applejack down as she smiled. Rainbow Dash returned the smile with that same fearless subtext that she always held.
Thought you weren't the Sapper type,
Applejack teased. I'm not, Rainbow Dash defended, narrowing her rose-red eyes at Applejack. This isn't me being sappy, this is me telling you how awesome you are, AJ. Everyone needs to be told how much ass they kick from time to time, don't you think? Especially my best friend. Can't have you getting all lame and making me look less awesome. That's about the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say, Applejack snickered. But you have a point. Feels nice to get that ego boost sometimes. But I'm afraid yours will leak out of your ears if it gets any bigger. Hey! Anyway, I can tell him myself. No need to act different. Alright, but you want to talk about it anyway? I hate shit like this, but I can make an exception. It sucks to keep it in, Rainbow Dash pointed out. Applejack clenched her fists and set her jaw. I don't know what to tell you. I done told you all about the day it happened. Got back home. Sure, maybe I cried a bit, but I'm alright now. She looked down at her calloused hands and sighed. Just needed time to think. Maybe in the moment I didn't really get what Rare is saying. I'm still me, you know? Her breath hitched in her throat as she realized she had started saying more than she planned. But Rainbow Dash's encouraging eyes and full attention egged her on. With a sigh, she continued. Well, I guess I didn't really get that maybe I am different now. Or at least in the way others are gonna see me. Can't make Rarity like something she ain't gonna like. I get that now, and we're still friends and nothing's changed between me and Rares and Twi. Only thing that changed was stuff between Rares and me. That'll take me a little longer to get used to, but I'll get over it. Applejack finished with a shrug. I think I pushed her into thinking she had to apologize, which ain't fair. It's like getting mad at a cat for not eating lemons when they'll still hang around you while you're sipping lemonade. What? Never mind, she chuckled. What I'm trying to say is that I was hurting before, but I'm working on it now. And now I'm realizing that I wasn't acting proper before, but I just want everything to be like normal, you know? I don't care about anyone else or what they say, never have. Got enough of that from before, so I'm used to it, but I ain't used to our friend group being all weird like it is now. Rainbow Dash nodded. Yeah, I mean, I don't get all that relationship stuff, but I get friendships, and it's weird if it all changes for no reason. But since they're just trying to be supportive, then yeah, tell them how to do that. I mean, they're kinda weird with Twi too, remember? But it's totally fine now. You're right, Dash, thanks, Applejack replied with a smile. You're a real lifesaver. I know, she teased with a stuck-out tongue. You know I'd fight for you. Applejack rolled her eyes and stood up. Her muscles ached and begged to be left alone, but they never won that argument. She stuck out her hand, offering it to her sweaty friend. Come on, partner, we still gotta make it all the way back for sundown, remember? Or else Ran is gonna tear my hide. Rainbow Dash clapped her hand to Applejack's much bigger one, allowing the much larger girl to help her up. She grinned, a challenge in her eyes as she stared at Applejack. Can't believe you still have a curfew. You're a big girl. Applejack slapped her upside the head. Can't believe you have such a big head. By the time the two girls made it back to Sweet Apple Acres, the sun was barely lingering over the horizon. As soon as they entered the Apple family's property, the pair slowed to a halt, bending over and panting heavily. Applejack's mouth watered as she fought back the urge to gag. Rainbow Dash didn't seem to fare much better. Her tongue lolled out of her mouth as she craned her neck up, one hand still on her knee and the other squeezing water into her mouth from the bottle. The liquid dribbled down her chin as she ducked her head and squirted water down the back of her neck. Applejack gazed at her miserably. Hit me, she wheezed. I ran out. Rainbow Dash pointed the bottle at her, misting her with the liquid. Mixed with the cool breeze of the rapidly approaching evening, it felt wonderful on her hot skin. After Applejack's relieved sigh, Rainbow Dash smirked and shot the bottle forward, squeezing at the same time. A stream of water splashed Applejack right between her eyes as Rainbow Dash snickered and sprinted toward the house. Applejack rubbed the water from her eyes and set off after Rainbow Dash, easily catching up to her as they both slowed to a jog. Making sure to at least wipe most of the sweat off of themselves, Applejack turned the knob into the warm house and waited for Rainbow Dash to enter before closing the door behind them. There was never a dull moment in her home. The TV was blaring some show that Apple Bloom liked as Winona barked in the kitchen, Granny Smith scolding her for something. The only one not making any noise was Big Mac, but he was probably up in his room anyway. Applejack smiled and set down her drawstring bag on the mean bench near the door. Bringing an open hand to her mouth, she called, I'm back, and I brought Rainbow Dash! From the kitchen, Granny peered over the wall. Oh, howdy, Applejack. Was about to send the hounds to find you. Where you been, girlie? Even after a month, terms like that still made Applejack grin from ear to ear. Elated, she panted heavily, still trying to catch her breath as she led Rainbow Dash into the kitchen to speak with Granny Smith. You mean Winona? Shaking her head, Granny slapped Applejack's arm. Don't play smart with me. You brought your friend here. Good thing, too. We've got plenty of food to share. Rainbow Dash licked her lips, inhaling the savory smell of the food being cooked. Smells great, Granny Smith. Granny Smith guffawed. Ha
I like this. The smell of real home cooking, Rainbow Dash. The famous apple family spicy gumbo, they calls it. Well deserved, too. Recipe stays in the family, and all in the family. Passed down from daughter to daughter, generation to generation, as soon as eldest daughter turns 13.
Rainbow Dash turned to Applejack completely slack-jawed.
Wait, you know how to make this, and you've never made it for us?
Crossing her arms, Applejack shook her head and leaned against the counter next to the stove.
I never got taught it, Dash, but Bloom got taught the recipe last year. Don't think she's mastered it just yet, if I'm being honest, she added with a smile.
Sheepishly, Rainbow Dash rubbed the back of her neck.
Oh yeah, right.
Whacking Applejack on the arm once more, Granny Smith clicked her tongue.
Careful, child, you might burn yourself.
Applejack raised her arms and sidestepped. Reckon you'll hurt me more than the stove.
Oh, hush, Scully,
Granny Smith hissed.
In a way, a friend here reminded me. I reckon it's about time I teach you the gumbo recipe. Next time, mate, you better be here to learn.
Rainbow Dash slung an arm around Applejack's neck, though she had to stand on her tiptoes to do so, and dragged the mountainous woman down with her.
Ooh, hear that, AJ? You're gonna be taught the super secret gumbo recipe, and then you can bring it to our potlucks.
Grinning wildly, Applejack snorted, doing her best to pass off her euphoria as annoyance with Rainbow. Maybe if you bring something other than chips, I'll consider it, she teased, eliciting a huff from Rainbow. Pushing the athlete off her, she stuck her tongue out in feigned disgust before turning back to her Granny. But you already taught Bloom the recipe, she pointed out. Granny Smith rolled her eyes and flicked the soup spoon in Applejack's direction, something she seemed to do quite often. A large drop of gumbo stew plopped onto her already dirty shirt.
Sure, but darling, I'm supposed to teach it to the eldest daughter of the family. That ain't Apple Bloom, hon, that's you, even if it took us a bit to realize it.
Something stirred inside Applejack. Tears brimmed in her eyes, but she wasn't going to cry, not over gumbo.
Oh, well,
Once the words failed to come, she simply shook her head and stepped forward to wrap her arms around Granny Smith. Thank you. Granny returned the hug for a moment, before smacking Applejack's arm until she let go.
Now, don't you distract me from the cooking. I'll teach you next time, but for now, you smell like one old Mac's old gym socks. Get out of here and don't come back till dinner's done.
Rainbow Dash saluted and bolted up the stairs, shouting a greeting to Apple Bloom, who yelled one back over the noise of the TV. Applejack chuckled and rolled her eyes.
I swear, that girl acts like she lives here,
she commented to Granny, before giving her a kiss on the cheek and chasing after Rainbow Dash. Upon finding her bedroom door closed, Applejack placed her hand on the handle, but paused before opening it. Instead, she made her hand into a fist and knocked.
Hey, Dash, am I okay to come in?
What do you mean? A muffled Rainbow Dash responded. Applejack toyed with the hem of her shirt.
I mean, are you changing or not?
Oh, I'm just taking my shirt off, Rainbow responded a bit too loudly. You can come in. I don't care, AJ. An embarrassed blush crept up to Applejack's cheeks.
Are you sure?
Rainbow Dash didn't respond at first, which left Applejack wondering if she should just wait, but before she could think about it, the door swung open. Rainbow Dash stood there, sweaty and shirtless, though still with her sports bra on, with a nonchalant expression on her face. A yelp escaped Applejack as she turned away and stared at the wall.
Rainbow Dash, she hissed. What the hell?
Behind her, Rainbow Dash snorted.
What? Not like you've never seen boobs before, right?
She cackled and slapped the door frame.
I'm wearing a bra. Come on, Applejack. We're best friends and you're a girl, so I mean, it's pretty normal. Now you can either stay out here and turn into Tomato Jack and risk your brother coming out of his room to see.
She gestured around herself, and then to Applejack.
This! Or you can just come into your room and tell me how to work your stupid shower.
Applejack huffed sharply, ignoring the blood rushing to her face.
I can't. Sure you can,
Rainbow Dash interjected, probably with that stupid smirk of hers.
No, I really can't,
Applejack promised, holding her hands up to the side of her head, funneling her vision to the family picture on the wall in front of her. Was she always so goofy looking?
I think you can,
Rainbow argued. She took a deep inhale.
Big Mac!
Applejack's eyes widened as she cursed under her breath. At breakneck speed, she turned around and glared at Rainbow Dash's stupid, smug grin. Big Mac's door creaked open, sending Applejack hurtling toward her friend.
Fine, get in there,
she growled as she shoved Rainbow Dash in the door. What? Big Mac called from his door. Applejack peered into the hallway with a sheepish smile to Big Mac peeking out from his room.
Nothing. Dash is just being stupid.
With a shrug, Big Mac retreated to his room and shut the door again. Rainbow Dash snickered as Applejack gently shut the door behind her.
The hell was that?
Applejack yelled, turning away from Rainbow Dash.
I knew you'd do something if I called for your brother,
she pointed out as she took a seat on Applejack's squeaky bed.
What if he'd seen you?
Oh, please, Rainbow jeered. Big Mac's definitely seen girls before. He has a girlfriend, doesn't he? Applejack only growled in response. Come on, you gotta get used to it. It's not weird. Maybe not for you, Applejack muttered, finding a spot on the wall to stare at. Did you forget that y'all used to kick me out whenever y'all would change it to PJs? Sure, Rainbow agreed, but it's different now. Applejack sighed and rubbed her forehead. Right. Different. The bed sheets on Applejack's bed shuffled as Rainbow Dash scrambled to her feet. Hey, I didn't mean to,
I know, Applejack interrupted. After a deep breath, she turned to Rainbow Dash and managed to look her in the eyes with a grin. It's fine. You wanted that shower, right? Here, I'll show you how it's done. Just give me a sec to tell Mac to stay out. Rainbow Dash flashed her a thumbs up and leaned back on her elbows as Applejack stalked into the bathroom and flicked the lights on. Instantly, her mind flashed back to that morning. She could practically see herself staring into the mirror, miserably half-shaven and trembling. Why couldn't I have been born a girl? Applejack blinked the memory away and shook her head, mindlessly rubbing her smooth cheek with a slightly shaky hand. Was her facial growing back in already? But she had just shaved this morning. No, it's fine. You're just overreacting. She steadied herself and knocked on the door on the opposite side of the room. Mac, she called out. Don't go in the bathroom, all right? Dash is going to take a shower, you hear? Yup, came Big Mac's distinctly deep voice from the other side of the door. A frown settled onto her face as she replayed her own voice in her head. Pushing it down, she stared into her own room, tapping on Big Mac's door behind her. Dash, you can get in here now. It took Rainbow Dash only a moment to appear in the bathroom next to Applejack. Get to it! I can practically smell myself, and I really want that gumbo! Applejack snorted and leaned into the shower, showing Rainbow Dash how to finick with the knob just right to get it to work. Rainbow Dash watched absent-mindedly, which made Applejack have to hold back a snicker. She's gonna get sprayed with ice-cold water, she mused. Oh well, serves her right for not listening. Ducking out of the shower, Applejack crossed her arms. You got that, Dash? Rainbow nodded. Yeah, wiggle it twice, an inch to the right before moving it to the left, and don't turn it more than 45 degrees at once. I got it. Don't take too long, Applejack warned as she threw Rainbow a clean towel from the cabinet. I'm fixing to get cleaned up, too. Rainbow clicked her tongue in agreement as she caught the towel in her hands. Hey, do me a favor and throw me in some clothes. I don't remember if I packed an extra set, but if not, spot me some of yours. All right, Applejack agreed, but if I give you some of mine, they're going to be too big, she pointed out. Don't care, Rainbow deadpanned. Now get out unless you really want to see something. I'm leaving, Applejack exclaimed, stepping out of the bathroom and pulling the door shut. She stared blankly at it for a moment before sighing and rubbing her forehead. Oh, Lord, I swear that girl drives me up the wall, she muttered. The pipes rumbled and groaned with water as Applejack rummaged in Rainbow Dash's drawstring bag. Apart from some personal belongings, Applejack found that Rainbow Dash had indeed packed clothes, though she lifted the damp shirt from the bag and frowned as its odor filled the air. Oh, that's gross, she mumbled as she threw the shirt aside. The pants were fine, though, which was a relief since they were definitely not the same size pants. From the bathroom, Rainbow Dash yelped in surprise, then let out a barely audible stream of curse words. Applejack chuckled, imagining how Granny would tan her hide if she'd heard. No matter family or not, there was absolutely no swearing around Granny Smith. She peered down at the pair of track pants Rainbow Dash had saved in her bag for who knows how long, and then at her dresser. With a shrug, Applejack approached it and opened the top drawer. She glanced at her different shirts. Most of them were meant to be undershirts worn into button-ups, but she also had t-shirts that could be worn alone. After considering her options for a total of 1 second, she picked out a black shirt that she hoped wouldn't swim on Rainbow Dash's little body and threw it on the pile of her other clothes, then picked it all up and knocked on the bathroom door. I'm coming in to leave your clothes on the ground, she warned. The only response she got was some kind of a loud grunt from Rainbow Dash. She opened the door, practically threw the clothes into the hot bathroom, and shut the door again. The steam was so hot it managed to make her flush. Sheesh, Ray, you cooking a lobster? She muttered as she wiped beneath her nose. With a sigh, Applejack paced around her room. Her hands resorted to playing with the hem of her shirt until she realized what she was doing and grunted. She takes the longest showers, she muttered, though only 5 minutes had gone by and she knew it. Her sore legs finally begged her to stop, and she finally listened, throwing herself back onto her bed with a heavy huff. Her own stench flew back at her as the blankets whiffed around her. I really need to get rid of these clothes, she complained as she listened to the water rush around the pipes. Her arms tingled at her sides as she stared at the ceiling with a frown. The tips of her fingers twitched as she thought about moving them. Her sweaty shirt clung to her skin in a way that grew more and more uncomfortable the more she thought about it.
You could just take it off. Nothing to hide under there.
Applejack furrowed her brow as she gripped the shirt in her palms. She sat up and stared down at the muscle tank reserved for exercise.
It's not like she ain't seen it before. You've been to the beach with all your friends.
But it felt wrong. Her hands shook her grip as her hold on the bottom of her shirt tightened.
Look at yourself. That ain't right.
Applejack bit her lip.
You ain't right.
The door clicked. Applejack snapped her head up to watch Rainbow Dash emerge from a cloud of steam, wearing a fresh change of clothes, though the shirt was definitely way too big for her. Her long, polychromatic hair hung like noodles on her head as she rubbed the towel viciously on it.
Whoa, now I'm feeling refreshed. Sorry for taking so long, AJ.
Applejack said something that wasn't words in response. Rainbow dropped the towel from her head and shook out her now damp but still fluffy hair. She paused mid-shake as her eyes fell on Applejack.
Whoa, are you okay?
The words echoed in her head as Applejack glanced at herself. Her hands released their grip and she sat up straight, unclenching her jaw and cleared her throat.
Yeah, I just got lost in thought.
Rainbow frowned and smacked the side of her head, then the other.
Good or bad?
Bad, Applejack admitted. Sorry.
It's fine.
Water sprayed Applejack as Rainbow shook her head like a dog.
You want to talk about it, or do you want to shower first?
Applejack hunched over and stared at her hands for a moment as they trembled. She took a deep breath and clenched them.
Maybe after.
Okay, Rainbow Dash agreed. Showers are yours then, AJ.
Absently, Applejack stood. Thanks. She walked to the bathroom, entered the still steamy room and shut the door, making sure to face away from the mirror. She grabbed her towel from behind the door and brought it closer to the shower. Her eyes stung as she blinked away the heat.
Come on, just get it over with. Nothing's changed. It's the same as every day.
Applejack swallowed dryly as she slid her shirt over her head. The air felt thick around her as her still sweaty chest was struck by the humid room's environment.
See? It's wrong. Like always. Stop, she whispered to herself. Not again.
Applejack threw the shirt across the bathroom and held her head in her hands.
It's fine. Just breathe, she instructed, but she wouldn't listen. You're so close to seeing the truth. Take off your pants. It's easy.
Can't shower in pants. Applejack fumbled with the top of her sweatpants, stretching it out, but hesitating to pull them down.
Easy. You'll see.
Applejack gritted her teeth and pulled off her sweatpants, leaving her in stupid red boxers. They were uncomfortably loose and always bunched up in her pants, but at least they weren't tight against her. That would be worse. At least she could almost forget she had a wrong. You're wrong. Applejack's knees buckled as she slid down into the wall into a fetal position. Skin against her own skin, Applejack hugged her knees to her stupid flat chest and bit her lip.
Ha! See? You're wrong. Don't matter what they say. Can't pretend.
No, Applejack mumbled, blinking away tears. Her surroundings faded into blackness as she stared dead ahead at the shirt she had stripped herself from.
No, Grandma's gonna teach me the recipe, she cried, 'cause I'm the eldest daughter here.
That's why Rarity ain't want you. She can't even pretend you're something you ain't.
Tears sung in her eyes as her vision blurred. Applejack covered her face with her large hands and winced. No, don't cry, she pleaded to herself under her breath. Dash is right outside. Just a shout and you'll feel better.
Talking to herself was a great helping mechanism. Unfortunately, it was much too audible. From the other side of both doors came simultaneous knocks. Applejack tensed up and held her breath.
You okay?
Her brother and her best friend asked almost in sync. Applejack bit her tongue and found herself unable to say anything.
Stupid, you only upset 'cause you know I'm right.
AJ? Big Mac's voice drifted in. Rainbow Dash's came next.
You good?
You're not good. Look at you. Remember Rainbow Dash? Does she look like you? Are you good? No, Applejack croaked out. No, I ain't. She forced out louder, practically yelling at this time. Her fingernails dug into her biceps as she repeated the simple answer, unsure if her staggered breath was from crying or from all the yelling. Was she even crying or was it sweat? She didn't cry! Both doors opened simultaneously. The world rushed into view as Big Mac and Rainbow Dash both entered hurriedly into the room. They glanced at each other briefly, then down at the near-naked Applejack as she pulled out her blonde hair.
I ain't good,
she admitted miserably. She took a shaky breath, her entire body tensing with the effort. Rainbow Dash and Big Mac each kneeled at her sides, though they seemed unsure about what to do. Applejack tightened her grip on her hair, ignoring the ache it caused her scalp. I thought I was okay, really. This whole time, ever since that day, I thought I was right as rain. But... She hiccuped as she shook her head. She hated admitting defeat, and this would mean she lost to herself, though she had to tell the truth. But I haven't been. I don't think I ever will be. Big Mac was the first to try his luck. He placed a heavy but gentle hand on Applejack's bare shoulder. It's okay to not be okay, he drawled out deeply. Sometimes it's pretty easy to trick ourselves into thinking we're okay when we really ain't. Makes falling apart a lot worse, though. Applejack nodded weakly, trying her best to choke down the sobs. She couldn't cry, especially not in front of Rainbow Dash, but she figured maybe it was too late for that. I know, You want to talk about it? Big Mac asked. I don't know. Applejack mumbled, palming away tears of sweat or snot or whatever it was that dripped on her face. She gave Rainbow Dash a glance. Her best friend seemed unsure of what to do, as her eyes trailed mostly around the room, but not ever fully at Applejack herself. The blonde frowned and shut her eyes. She can't even look at you now that she can't pretend you aren't something you ain't. Applejack shook her head and clicked her tongue. Rainbow Dash? Finally, Rainbow's rose-red eyes fell on hers. Yeah? Do you think I'm... Her voice fell flat as the words seemed to escape her. Frustrated, Applejack gestured to Rainbow Dash. What? Rainbow asked, seemingly almost amused, judging by her half-smirk. Applejack snorted and rolled her eyes, completely unimpressed. Never mind. Rainbow Dash shifted up next to her. No, come on, AJ, what's up? She wasn't even sure she wanted to be having this conversation. Why couldn't she just get up, shower, and move on? Then she wouldn't have to bother her brother and her friend. She definitely wouldn't have had to embarrass herself the way she did. Her body itched at the thought, and she curled up even tighter, trying to cover her exposed skin even though she knew it wasn't a new sight. You want a towel? Big Mac offered. Applejack nodded, thankful for her brother, who knew how to read her like a book. Big Mac peered up and around, finding the towel barely within reaching distance. He leaned up and grasped for it, then threw it around Applejack's shoulders. Applejack clutched the towel and pulled it around her, trying to hide in it. Thanks, she muttered. With a thump, Rainbow Dash sat next to her. Were you trying to ask me if you are a girl? Well, that was close enough. She didn't even know how to put her original questions into words, so she nodded. Rainbow Dash scoffed with a grin. Well, Jesus, Applejack, of course! She prodded Applejack's arm with a finger, catching the blonde's attention. I mean, look, I know you don't like lying. You're really tall and stuff, and maybe you'll look, well, you know. Applejack huffed. But that doesn't mean anything. You're still a girl, she promised. Why do you think I was trying to get you to see that earlier? I don't think of you as a boy anymore, and neither does your family or our friends. The punch that replaced Rainbow Dash's finger served to make Applejack smile. Maybe some people will. Hell, some people will still want to, misgender Twilight, and he doesn't even look like a girl anymore. So yeah, people suck, Rainbow pointed out. Yeah, they suck, and that's why you have us, okay? AJ, you have me, and I'm willing to fight for you. Remember? Big Mac let out a chuckle as Applejack smiled at Rainbow Dash. Well, she croaked out, I don't want you getting arrested again. Oh, shut up! We swore not to talk about that again! Applejack laughed and pulled the towel tighter. Means a lot, RD. Seriously, I think sometimes I get too caught up in worrying what other people might think. I thought I didn't care, but I do. To be honest, I don't know if I want to try and change my body, you know? Too much to lose. Sure. But I'm definitely not sure yet, Applejack admitted. I don't know, I have to wait till I start thinking about all that, and I'm still trying to get used to, well, being me, you know? Well, whatever you decide, we'll be here for you, Big Mac promised next to Applejack. On her other side, Rainbow Dash nodded in agreement. Their promise didn't fix it or make her worries go away, but it helped Applejack smile, and she figured that was enough for now. Thanks, y'all. Now I reckon I stink, so I'm gonna shower. Yeah, you need it, Rainbow teased. Yup. Big Mac agreed with a smile. Smacking both of them on the arm, Applejack shoved them. Get out of here, you varmints! She ordered as Big Mac and Rainbow Dash scrambled back out of the respective doors they came in. She sat on the tiled floor for a moment before pulling herself together and stood up. The cry drained her further and made her even more tired, but she managed to get ready to shower. Time seemed to slip by as she let the cold water fall all over her body. She shut her eyes and let herself go on autopilot as she rubbed the sweat and grime off her. At least Rainbow Dash using up the hot water enticed Applejack to shower faster. She found herself scrubbing shampoo into her hair and out of it, almost as quickly as it came in, Ignoring everything below her neck was mostly easy, and she quickly found herself drying off with a towel. She didn't even remember bringing a change of clothes for herself, and yet there were some clean work duds on the counter when she stepped out. Maybe Big Mac had brought them to her? She definitely hoped Rainbow Dash hadn't been looking in her drawers. Regardless, she pulled on the clothes as fast as she could and rubbed her hair voraciously with the towel, getting it as dry as she could before stepping out of the bathroom and back into her room. To her surprise, Apple Bloom was in the room with Rainbow Dash, though they both shut themselves up as soon as she stepped in. Apple Bloom waved. "Hey, Applejack, you okay?" "Yep, I'm fine now," Applejack answered honestly, running a hand through her damp, stringy hair. It was just a bit past shoulder length now, which served to plaster a smile on her face. "Why, did Dash tell you what happened?" "I kinda heard you crying or yelling or something, so I came up to check, but by the time I did, you were already showering," she explained. "Big Mac and Rainbow Dash were just telling me you needed some cheering up, so I wanted to give you a big hug if that's okay." Of course that's okay, Sugar Cube," she confirmed as Apple Bloom ran to her and wrapped her arms around her torso. She was barely tall enough for Applejack to hug her back around her neck, but she fit perfectly so. "Thanks, Bloom." Apple Bloom tightened the squeeze before letting go. "Of course! Oh, and Grandma told me she was going to teach you the gumbo recipe," Apple Bloom said with a smile. "So maybe I can help you with that when she does." Applejack chuckled, trying to imagine how that would work out. Apple Bloom wasn't the best cook, but she appreciated the gesture anyway. "Sure, it would be nice to learn it from the master." Apple Bloom's cheeks flushed as she looked away. "Oh, well, I ain't that good at it just yet," she admitted. Rainbow Dash groaned, reminding the two of her presence in the room. You guys are making me hungry with all this gumbo talk." "You're always hungry," Applejack teased. "Exactly! Can we go down now?" Apple Bloom giggled and nodded. "Well, Grandma's all done with it now if y'all want to come eat." At the idea of actually getting to eat, Applejack's stomach growled. She glanced at Rainbow Dash, who all but salivated. The blonde chuckled and nodded. "Yeah, let's go grab some food." Apple Bloom and Rainbow Dash cheered in tandem as they ran out of the room together. Applejack rolled her eyes and hung up her towel. She followed them out, but lingered at the doorway. Her eyes drifted back into the room that had housed her for most of her life. It remained the same for her whole life, unchanging. Her belongings stayed neatly tidied, though she had been letting herself slack with the cleaning lately, organized on shelves and everywhere there was space. Particularly, she caught the sight of an old, worn baseball and smiled fondly at it. "I wonder what Pa would think," she mused sadly. Logically, she knew that it didn't really matter, but she always wanted to make her parents proud. Could she still do that? Probably. All that her mom wanted her children to do was to stay true to themselves and not let anyone else dictate how they lived their lives. Maybe Applejack was too young to understand what that truly meant when she had first heard it, but she understood it now. Her parents wanted their kids to lead happy, healthy, long lives. As for Applejack, she planned on doing just that. Her eyes lingered on her mother's guitar, tucked carefully in the corner of her room next to her bass guitar. The road may be uncertain, but Applejack planned to cruise down it with as few regrets as she could muster. Whatever that meant, she'd have to find out. Slowly, as if moving too fast would break something, Applejack ducked away and closed the door behind her. She patted down her plaid button-up and slowly followed the scent of the traditional apple family dinner.